Not to brag, but we nailed it.
So, the 2025 TOTMs.
It was quite an experience.
There was a lot to get done.
Like a lot.
A lot to learn.
A lot.
And a lot to fight for.
But it was a success in the end.
Or was it? Just kidding.
Day zero. Well, for me, I think day zero was like 3 months ago. but okay, at the point when we arrived in Pune, lots of frazzled nerves, lots of big expectations as well.
I was still in Delhi, but I have to say I'm curious to see what day zero looked like.
Honestly, when our team arrived, the work was way past the start from scratch phase. But the workers were like on a roll, like they meant business.
Let's get down to business.
In fact, Siddharth had arrived a day earlier to sort of catch the absolute start.
I thought I'm going to be all blurry-eyed, but I'll tell you what, when I walked into that lawn and you see all this stuff lying around, all the material, you get charged up because you're like, this is going to turn into something big.
Hi, I'm Hussain, the janitor at Acco Drive. So the goal for the day was that the set construction continues as per plan and we have a proper working rundown. And the set construction was going pretty well.
Whee! And I was like a kid looking at all of the bikes in one row, and it was just,
So here's the thing, the hotel thought that we would get say about 6 vehicles, that is 3 cars, 3 bikes, and we would call it a day. But we ended up getting say 18 vehicles, and the next challenge at hand was to sort of figure out a way to get them placed throughout the entire venue.
When those cars all get there, first you got to figure out which cars. They've got to be nominees. We have no idea who's winning. So then you're like torn between good-looking cars and nice colors, and like the cars you're thinking are maybe more relevant or more important. Yeah, it's not fun.
So it was past 12 a.m. But I mean, that was a new normal now because most of us were like on no sleep for at least 48 hours. And there was so much stuff to get done, everyone was on ground.
And so, you know, the position of where the bar was going to come, the all-important thing for the audience, and, you know, where we're going to have this nice photo booth at the entry point, but should it be here, should it be there? Like, we were literally moving things around.
The rundown was still not done.
The hotel staff already started setting up chairs and the tables. Wherever you look, work was happening. But there was so much yet to be done.
Yeah, like the rundown.
Okay.
So finally, it was my turn to head to Pune, and I was super excited already. Well, at least physically.
unlike last year where we were just finishing the stage build-up moments before the ceremony began, things were looking very nice. It was all ready by 10 a.m. itself.
It was time to jump into action. The VIPs would arrive in the evening, but the real MVPs, the cars and the bikes, were yet to be set into position.
So the main challenge was to do with the turntable and to get the cars on the turntable. Considering it being so delicate, people were actually standing and holding them in place.
There was a minor accident though. Don't worry, it wasn't that serious.
He had one job. One job. We gave him the freedom to get freedom from the camera, but it seems that he ran out of gas, both literally and figuratively.
Getting back to the cars, I drive cars on road and off road, but this particular setup required balance, finesse, and sheer luck. I'm pretty sure I defied physics quite a few times.
So at one point, I had said that we should have the BYD seal. Now I'll tell you, from a camera, lights, shoot perspective, white is bad. We were in Pune, Hail Mary, just told one of the guys, you know what, just call Mercedes-Benz and see if we could get an EQA, because an EQE or an EQS would have just been too large for that space. And you know what? Thank you, Mercedes-Benz. They actually found one at a dealer. They sent us the blue one. It came nerve-wrackingly later in the day than we would have liked.
And the porch area, well, that was going to be my highlight, because over there we had arranged to get the Red Bull F1 simulator.
This is what it was supposed to look like. This is what we were expecting.
I mean, boss, इतने पैसे में इतना ही मिलेगा. And at the end of the day, we were near Mundwa, not Milton Keynes.
And to keep things interesting, we had a session of wine tasting. I mean, early birds should get some benefit, right?
One of the things you have to do before you go up is get the war paint on. Not a fan.
So once I was finally ready, I went down the elevator, which by the way took forever to come. And then I walked through I zipped through some dark hallway and entered the stage area because it was showtime.
Once the show started, the real BTS happened behind the stage, making sure the right trophies went up on stage at the right time.
The nominations would get announced, and then the winner would get announced, and then still no sign, because after that is when they would begin their little journey from backstage, which wasn't like there were no wings. Yeah, somebody should have thought that that's going to take a little bit of time, and that somebody was back there from our team.
Not to brag, but we nailed it.
And then I find out that Santosh Iyer, who was our person of the year, who's coming from the Mercedes factory and headquarter at Sakand, is held up in traffic.
I remember running towards the gate, trying to figure out where Santosh is, and we were getting constant updates from him about his whereabouts. We were stalling, we were waiting.
What was stressful was constantly having to look towards the entrance to see, am I seeing any action? And then I see Santosh almost running in. And I'm like, and now we can get to the next very important culmination of our event. And I led into that AV and he got to see it. Santosh, come on up here.
In the words of famous Jerry Seinfeld, I'm not a morning person, I'm not a night person. I'm when the coffee kicks in person. And that was more or less the whole team. We would just grab our coffees and we were swinging in action.
We were finally in our indoor setup, kickstarting day 2 with our second drive dialogues.
One thing we always get before the awards is this anticipation. People call up and say, are we winning anything? And then we have to say, we have to wait because we don't know the results. Yeah, we do this dance every year. And then given how many times we get those queries, you'd expect that there's going to be a lot more excitement from them when they're in the audience. So yeah, we got lots of great reactions, as always. Somehow something on their phone was always more interesting.
There were a lot of activities planned throughout the event. Since we were in Pune, a Missed Masterclass was definitely happening, and that happened on the second day in the morning. A lot of the guests loved it.
Oh yeah, there was the coffee workshop also in the evening. I tend to keep track of all the coffee related things.
Now, I was not the only local boy. Siddharth is also a local boy, so is Hussain. So this was a chance for our, say, parents to come down and actually see what we do.
It was really special because it was after a long gap. Thank you. So yeah, this is just one of many special memories. The fact that I have this on a mug I'm going to, of course, go and share it with them.
But little did my dad know,
The Totem Hall of Fame Pioneer Journalist Award to Adil Jal Darukhanawala.
Siddharth started the awards in his style, roasting brands. A lot of the guests loved it, and so did our team. For a second, we forgot we were working and just enjoying those.
I was capturing guest reactions for social media and had a lot of fun because I remember I caught that exact moment when Siddharth was roasting the design for the Thar Rocks, and the entire Mahindra team's face was priceless. I also remember capturing Hisashi Takeuchi on camera. He was dancing when Suzuki won.
Also, the most fun part of day 2 was that interactive quiz that I got to play and conduct with our guests. And I think everyone participated really well. Of course, we had Hussain who was screaming in my ear, time's up, time's up. So even that little bit I had to kind of rush through. But all in all, I had a super time.
So as we keep telling people, for us, there's a lot of anticipation and that feeling in the stomach. So when I opened the envelope for Car of the Year, I was like, and the first runner-up is the Mahindra XUV 3XO. So they come up, and then I forced, like only 2 of them came up, so I forced the others. I was like, no, all of you come up, come on. Because I had seen what's going to happen next, because it had never happened before.
And now we go to the big one. This has never happened before, the Mahindra Thar Rocks.
Not just our awards, I don't think it's ever happened anywhere, where you had the first runner-up and the winner from the same manufacturer.
So as in life, but mostly in events, and always in events, things rarely go as per plan. And the same happened here. But all's well that ends well, especially when you have a great team.
That's when the magic happens. That's when things that you don't expect somehow just magically work out.
It was my first time at the TOTMs, so it felt surreal when it ended.
Of course, there were a lot of things still to be done, but it was really nice to end it on a good note.
You have this high, you have this feeling of achievement. You also have a feeling of relief.